All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's Marana Women's Network program. We are here with Sabrine Assem. She is an Egyptian entrepreneur and the co-founder and CEO of Untapped Technologies. She's an enthusiastic advocate of open innovation through collaborative problem solving and design thinking. We are so happy to have Sabrine here with us today during today's Marana Women's Network program to learn more about the work she's doing with open innovation programs and platforms and how you, our participants here today, and those watching later on through the recording, can start using these as solutions in your own businesses and communities. So we're going to look at some high-level stuff and maybe circle back down to things. So please don't hesitate to jump on in and ask questions so that we can make sure that everyone is flowing through this notion of collective intelligence and open innovation. So with that, I will turn over to you, Sabrine.
Thank you so much, Faye. It's really my pleasure today. Thank you so much, everyone, for attending. I hope it's gonna be useful for you all. And as Faye said, please interrupt me at any point. Please ask any sort of questions. I'd love to make it as interactive as possible. So let me get started by sharing my screen. And yeah, that's it. So, can you see my screen? Perfect. Okay. So I'm Sabrine Assem. As Faye said, I'm the CEO of Untap, which I'm going to tell you about today. Today's topic is about the power of price competitions. A subtitle is Open Innovation, Crowdsourcing, and more. So let me get started by showing you this amazing piece of architecture, the Houses of Parliament in the UK. And another amazing construction, which is the Sydney Opera House. And both have something in common, which is basically that both are the outcomes of open architectural competitions. So following a fire in the 1834, the British Houses of Parliament was left in ruins. And the UK government decided to launch an open architecture competition to design the new Houses of Parliament. The architecture competition received 97 entries, out of which Charles Barry's design was chosen as the winner in January 1836. And the Sydney Opera House was the result of an international architecture competition in 1956. Over 200 entries were submitted to that competition, and John Edson was a relatively unknown architect at the time, but still, he was the one who had a vision for the curved building that is now one of the amazing constructions in the world. An older competition is actually the Longitude Prize, which was basically also run by the British government back in 1714. The thing is, ships were having a lot of trouble in the ocean while traveling long distances to identify the longitude or to measure the longitude of the Earth or of their position. And the British government decided to have the longitude rewards to find out a simple and practical method for precise determination of a ship's longitude in 1714. One of the primary winners of that competition was John Harrison, this guy here, and he was a carpenter, which actually shows how diverse and how unexpected the result of a competition can be. That someone who is a carpenter, who is not an inventor, who's not someone who's proficient in sailing or in traveling or whatever, he's the one who identified or came up with a method for the determination of a ship's longitude. So going back a few steps, I shared with you some examples for open innovation, basically, or open innovation competitions. I want to just define what open innovation actually means and what innovation and crowdsourcing also mean. So open innovation means that an organization would use not only the intellectual contributions of their employees, of the people working for the organization, but also it would go beyond and actually access ideas and technologies and solutions and brilliant intellectual contributions from outside their boundaries. So it's like extending the outside the organizational boundaries to include external collaborations. This is a basic definition of open innovation. Open innovation can manifest itself in prize-based competitions, which is the primary topic of today's presentation. Other than competitions, we can talk about partnerships, spin-offs, and other forms, mergers and acquisitions, and other forms of open innovation initiatives. Industry, academia collaboration, for instance, is also a part of open innovation. So going back one step, what is innovation? So we understand that open innovation is accessing intellectual contributions, ideas and solutions, technologies from anyone outside the organizational boundaries. So what is innovation? Innovation is the process of creating and introducing novel customer value in the market. It's about the new products and the processes that result in the enhancement of value for customers and for shareholders. So this is the definition of innovation. This is the definition of open innovation. And what is crowdsourcing? Crowdsourcing is one of the strategies for open innovation that reflects the act of an organization taking a function once performed by employees and outsourcing it. So the whole idea about crowdsourcing is basically getting a function and getting people from outside the organization to actually do it. And the difference between open innovation and crowdsourcing is that crowdsourcing is one form of open innovation in which the network of people is undefined. So we do not actually know who will participate in the crowdsourcing campaign or in the crowdsourcing program that we will launch. These are the four types of innovation. I'm going to just focus on one type, which is breakthrough innovation. Breakthrough innovation is when we have completely radical and new ideas introduced to well-defined problems. So we have a challenge, we have a problem statement, and we have we out of this challenge, I mean, like, we can use open innovation and prize-based competitions to actually generate breakthrough innovation. I'd love to leave this slide for later. I mean, if you have, if you want to go back to it, because it's a bit academic, but I'm gonna jump right into my inspiration. I mean, like, how it all, what inspired me actually to start an open innovation company. So basically, in 2012, I got introduced to the model of a platform called Innocentive. Innocentive is one of the leading open innovation platforms in the world. They have over 300,000 problem solvers and innovators registered on their platform, and they ran hundreds of open innovation challenges on the platform, basically connecting organizations with R&D and operational challenges to networks of the problem solvers through prize-based competitions. And the model was very inspiring to me, along with other platforms in the market and other models. I mean, like, the X Prize and Open IDEO is two other platforms that I'd like you guys to just check out as well. All of these models, they inspired me to start a startup back in 2012 called Silvermine. So Silvermine was an open innovation platform. We ran the platform for 3 years. I think I have questions. We ran the platform for 3 years. Let me, Faye, can you check if we have questions or something?
I was just adding the links to the.
Oh, okay, perfect. Okay. So basically, I mean, Silvermine was one of the first open innovation platforms actually in the Middle East and in Egypt. We had lots of problems back then in 2012 trying to make the model work. Lots of organizations were very skeptical of posting their challenges on an open platform. And of course, we could not get a network of problem solvers without the challenges. So, I mean, it was an attempt from my side for 3 years till 2015 to actually introduce a model similar to Innocentive in the region, but it did not work. However, in 2015, late 2015, EMC, back then, which is now Dell Technologies, Dell acquired EMC. So EMC, back then, they contacted me and they said, we know about SolverMine, and we want you to handle for us an open innovation program. It was basically a student competition, and build a platform for it. So the idea was that they wanted to introduce technologies and problem statements to the network of engineering students across the Middle East, Africa, and Turkey. And basically they wanted to collect the graduation projects from the students that introduce solutions to those particular challenges that Dell Technologies actually put. So the idea for Envision the Future, which is a graduation project student competition for engineering students across the Middle East and Africa, was introduced in late 2015. And I helped them build the platform for it. And the main difference between Envision the Future as a competition and what I was trying to do at SolverMine was the fact that Dell wanted to have the platform completely white labeled. And what does the white labeled actually mean? It means that they did not want to put it on SolverMine. They wanted to have their own dedicated platform where all the students would actually go and find Dell's logo and find Dell's branding and all of that. It was a mindset switch for me at the time. The thing is that the Envision the Future competition from year one was a great success. It's now in year 6. More than 6,000 participants, students, actually participated in that competition. Not surprisingly, I mean, we're all females. For me, it was not a surprise. Female rate is actually bigger than the male rate. The projects that were submitted were more than 1,300. More than 30 countries participated from 168 universities in that competition. And the competition of Envision the Future actually spurred the whole idea behind UNTAP. UNTAP is actually the software that powered Envision the Future. It's built around this idea. I mean, like, we have different types for calls for applications. We have competitions and hackathons. We have open innovation challenges. We have startup support programs, which all aim to find and select the best applicants with the best qualifications, with the best solutions, with the best ideas, and so on. So they could be extremely valuable, as you all saw from the beginning when I showcased some of the competitions, some of the prominent competitions. They are means to identify ideas, solutions, designs, insights, and talent. But running them the conventional way is a nightmare. So basically, when you run a call for applications, you spend so much time collecting applications using email attachments and Google Forms. You are left with spreadsheets with hundreds and thousands of submissions to go through and screen and evaluate. And you also have the challenge of accessing networks of highly qualified problem solvers and innovators from the crowd. And at the end of a call for applications, you have inadequate ROI analysis, missing a lot of insights and the impact that the program actually achieved. Despite all this, we have organizations of all kinds running calls for applications. We as UNTAP started with the large companies like Dell, and I'm going to tell you more about our customers later. So they run open innovation challenges, employees competitions, hackathons, student competitions, design competitions, and startup competitions. We have also grant providers and universities. Grant providers, they try to support social entrepreneurs to generate breakthrough innovations through their grant programs. Universities run constantly programs to find exceptional candidates to join their university. And accelerators, of course, they run startup intake programs to find the best startups to invest in. So we started Untap as a software. So it was the software that facilitates the entire process of running a call for applications from start to end, starting with just a 1-minute setup of the program, a website builder to create the landing page for your program, a dashboard for each program to oversee how everything is performing, a simple drag and drop form builder to create the application form, a solution where you can easily filter through thousands of applications, collaborate with teammates, run multiple rounds of submission to manage the whole funnel of a program in one place, enabling the admins to qualify participants from one round to the next, get real-time analysis on all aspects of the applications, run the call for applications in multiple languages, including Arabic, invite and assign submissions to the judges, and engage with the applicants and convey judges' feedback to them whenever required. And not only that, to just help, truly help with open innovation, we also support organizations in the outreach. By outreach, we mean the marketing of their programs to reach qualified participants from the crowd. We also generate custom reports and dashboards. We help with the setup of the program. We even help with the concept formulation of the program. I mean, the problem statement, the whole, the challenge, the mechanics of the challenge and all of that. We even go further and we do the initial filtration of the submissions to identify which applications are actually worth the time judging, and other benefits, of course. These are some of our customers. We have customers from 9 different countries, including entities such as Dell, Vodafone, the British Council, Deutsche Welle, Dubai government, and more. So far, we have over 30 customers. We powered over 80 programs. We have over 40,000 registered participants in our network, and we received over 16,000 submissions, ranging from startup submissions to design, photography, creative, science proposal, scholarship applications, grants, and so on. This is a breakdown of the programs we ran so far. Most of our programs are actually startup competitions and startup programs, which I'd love to discuss with you later in the questions. And also we run many student competitions. We have hackathons, we have creative competitions and innovation challenges. This is the distribution of the programs that we run so far. We served many sectors, including telecom, health, education, engineering, technology, and real estate. This is one of the programs that we actually run last year with the Dubai Future Foundation, the OMAC Hack, or the OMAC Hackathon. We proposed back then 100% online hackathon to be managed from start to finish by our team to tackle COVID-19 challenges. And it was a huge success. I mean, like, we had over 3,400 applicants taking part in the hackathon. We received over 1,200 solutions. 35 teams were shortlisted for the valuable solutions they presented, and 5 teams were selected for the $10,000 grand prize of the hackathon. So 5 teams, each team received $10,000. This is a showcase of what kind of solutions can you actually get out of a hackathon. So we had Yuram, a startup or a platform from Egypt that wanted to connect parents to teachers and therapists, parents of children with special needs. So basically, they wanted to connect both entities and help the therapists design, assign, supervise, and timely assess the progress achieved by their children amidst the exercises remotely. So the whole idea was that during the time of COVID-19, parents were not able to send their children to therapy, and we needed a solution to work remotely. So basically, Yuram suggested that platform, and Yuram now is one of the great success stories out of this hackathon. Pinpoint is another solution that was suggested. So basically, they wanted individual to be able to view live data that reflects the number of people in essential stores. So this was achieved through a deep learning technique to accurately calculate the entries and exits in stores using the already existing surveillance cameras, which is basically was a great solution to assess whether social distancing was actually applied, whether or not places were crowded, and so on. Other programs that we run include innovation hackathons by Vodafone. So they wanted solutions related to 5G, and they received hundreds of applications from more than 1,000 participants through Untap's platform. Tens of applications were shortlisted, and 3 winners won the hackathon. Deutsche Welle also runs the Media Loves Tech competition or annual innovation challenge with Untap in Tunisia, Algeria, and Morocco. So basically, the competition or the challenge calls for text-based solutions for the challenges facing the media today. They needed the website and the support and the platform, and Untap was able to give them that. The challenge was able to attract over 400 applicants, and tens of applications were surely shortlisted through this challenge. Digital Arabia Network, of course, also we had a great innovation challenge run by Digital Arabia Network on Untap. They wanted to invite Arab startups to solve problems related to certain tracks using technology. And basically, we tapped into the network of entrepreneurs that we had. Around 150 startups were applied, and 22 startups were chosen as finalists. These are some of the other examples that we have. I mean, like recently we ran a hackathon called C4F2 by Dell Technologies and the Ministry of Communications and Information Technology in Egypt. It was calling AI experts to participate in solving the problem of carbon emissions because of the traffic in Egypt. And it was a super successful hackathon, actually. This is another platform for PropTech, European PropTech Association. They run the PropTech Startup Europe Awards with Untap, looking for startups in the PropTech field. And this last competition is the Environmental Photographer of the Year competition. It's an amazing competition, actually. Great submissions. You cannot imagine the beauty of the submissions that actually enter this competition. They call for photos and images that reflect environmental impact. Fikritic is a competition by Vodafone that we ran recently. It's basically calling for female entrepreneurs and female, I mean, like ideators from the crowd to propose solutions related to the SDGs and Sustainable Development Goals by the UN. And it's a great initiative also. This is another startup competition that we ran with a collection of French companies and corporates and the French embassy in Cairo. Some of the best startups in Egypt participated in that competition. And finally, the AUC, the American University in Cairo, very recently launched the international case competition with Untap. They selected a startup, a scale-up actually. It's a bigger type of startup, to investigate and to create a case study about identifying certain challenges and inviting students from all around the world to participate in cracking the case, in solving the challenge, and in proposing solutions. More than 50 teams participated from over 15 universities around the world. The winning team was from Colombia, actually, and they had an amazing presentation that was attended by the founder of the Scale Up and showcasing all the solutions. So yeah, so that's basically my presentation for now. I hope I gave you many examples for competitions and open innovation and crowdsourcing and all of that. And I'd love to further discuss with you. I mean, like any questions that you have.
Thank you so much, Sabrine, for sharing. Perhaps some of the women in the group would want to share if they've participated in a competition like this before.
Yeah.
Have any of you participated in a competition before, like the ones that Sabrine was mentioning in her presentation?
Hi there. So yeah, I participated in a lot of competitions. So basically, I won two of them. So one with Enactus Morocco in partnership with the U.S. Embassy in the Moonshot 2020,
Yeah.
and it was related to the COVID issue. So I won that competition, and then recently I won another one with it. It's the first edition of this hackathon that called Act for UCD. It's
Mm.
UCD stands for the University Shuaib Dukali, which recently studying in. So yeah, basically I won two different competitions with two different projects. So one of them relates to the blind community. That app helps them to do their shopping alone. So it guides them. And the second one, it's about an online gallery where you get to basically, because in COVID we had no galleries, everything was closed, and it was quite impossible to gather a lot of people in the same room. So I thought about it, and yeah,
Perfect.
that's it.
Wow. Wow. I mean, this is super awesome. Thank you, Madiha. And
Thank you
I
so
think,
much.
yeah, and I think you definitely, I mean, like, since you won the competitions, you liked participating in the competitions, right?
Yes, I did before this, but this is my first time winning them.
Perfect.
I did
Perfect.
before.
Yeah.
I actually like I joined Inactive since 2017,
Mm,
and since then we participate and create a lot of ideas. I participate in DJ Girls. It's a program that is funded by Microsoft and US Embassy in Rabat.
yeah.
I did also participate in Startup Weekend. It's
Yeah.
like once a month. It's basically held in one of the cities in Morocco. I've joined Injaz Maghrib. I was semi-finalist in the national competition. So yeah, basically I did a lot.
Wow.
The list go on.
This is
So yeah,
awesome.
I'm passionate in this field. So yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. And it looks like Bushra said that she's also participated in some competitions and hackathons as well. So, and Rebecca, you want to share?
Yes, okay. So my understanding of open, okay, I didn't know much about open innovation, but I'm familiar with using the word open source. So the organization co-founded called Detective Uganda uses open source educative content like applications, games, videos, and the like to okay, we don't really create new content. What we do is just distribute the already existing open source content. Is that the same as open innovation?
This is a very interesting question. I mean, like, there's a big difference between open source and open innovation. So, from one side, they are both about getting solutions from anyone. Okay. However, open innovation, there is intellectual property protection. So people actually get their ideas to be patented the source is not available to anyone to actually use. I would say, and this is my personal opinion, that open source is a radical approach to open innovation. So definitely, it's about collaboration. It's about generating and creating the solution together, which is, I mean, like open innovation on steroids. I mean, like on really accelerated, which is amazing. So, Rebecca, I wanna just if I love the fact that you mentioned open source. I wanna give you a very quick definition of open innovation. Open innovation is basically trying to get solutions and ideas from outside the boundaries of an organization. So you're not getting the solutions from your employees, you're getting the solutions from people outside the organizations, whether those were customers, whether those were partners, startups, the crowd in general through price-based competitions, which we discussed in the presentation. So open source, on the other hand, is a way of creating solutions and a way of just creating, I mean, like coding together, and not only coding, but coding is the most prevalent form of open source. And where you cannot say that someone owns the IP. However, in the case of open innovation, you actually have an owner of the IP, of the intellectual property. And if intellectual property transfer occurs, then, I mean, like the owner transfers the IP to the organization. So the organization owns it. It's more closed. So yeah, I hope we all reach the point where we have open access to everything, and where people actually are not afraid of their ideas getting stolen and all of this. So yeah, but thank you, Rebecca.
Yeah, great question, Rebecca.
Wow.
So I wonder here, it seems like a lot of our participants are working on a very grassroots level, like small scale projects. And so maybe that's why open source is so useful for them, so that, you know, they're not having to create content, worry about all the intellectual property and things like this. So would you say, Sabrine, that open innovation is as applicable to grassroots organizations as you were talking about a lot of corporates and things like this? So
I would say, and this is a very the next also step for open innovation, there are two things. I mean, like from one side, of course, you can all participate in competitions as participants, okay? So let's agree you are at the other end of the equation, the ones supplying the innovation, the ones proposing the ideas and the solutions. So this is a role that, of course, I mean, like many of you actually said, Bushra and Madiha and all of you, you said that you participated in competitions. This is a form of open innovation participation. The interesting question would be how startups and SMEs and smaller organizations in general and grassroots movements can actually benefit from open innovation as the ones who receive innovation from the crowd. I would say through democratizing or making the tools accessible, something like Untap, for instance. You can go to Untap, sign up, start a program for free, and basically discuss with us how to make your program successful. Without a huge upfront investment, you can get up and running with a hackathon that you can use, for instance, not only to generate ideas, but actually to hire people, or a small competition, a small innovation competition or something. So without people would say, and this is very interesting, people would say that you have to put a huge upfront investment to initiate an open innovation program. And I beg to differ. I think with the proper tools and even the proper channels, you can get lots of solutions from the crowd. One example that I mentioned is the AUC, the American University in Cairo competition that they did for a startup. So they selected a startup in Egypt they selected a challenge that the startup is facing, and they proposed the challenge to hundreds of students. And the students actually propose solutions that are really relevant and really great. So you can do the same. You can just work with us or work with any other partner to draft a proper problem statement, and basically use a tool like Untap. Or if you don't have a budget at all, you can use Google Forms. I'm not against. I mean, like we are the better tool, of course, but I mean, like you can definitely use Google Forms or something to collect submissions and collect applications, and start your own open innovation initiative. It will require you to do some outreach to the right communities, but people do not need you to make to put a $100,000 prize in order to participate. I mean, with the ICC challenge, it was $1,000 prize, and still the students participated, and just one team won at the end, and the others gave relevant solutions. So people want to participate in the competitions because of getting experience, because they want to get exposed to networks, because they want to learn. It's a learning experience before the fact of that they want to just receive money or win a grand prize. So yeah.
Yeah, that's a great point. I was just going to mention that Do Our Tech ran a hackathon last year during the COVID period, and we just did it with the participants in our organization. So
Yeah.
it's a little bit different, but it was to create like solutions for post-COVID as a prototype practice. And it was a really small competition, but it allowed us to kind of diversify the engagement that we had within our organization. So it's something that you can even do, I feel like, in a local high school or something like this.
Yes. I mean, like I can even think. I mean, like I think. Did we do a high school program before? I'm thinking. La, I mean, like we didn't work with high school students yet, but we worked. I mean, like with many undergrads and many postgrads. I'm sure that even high school students they can come up with amazing ideas. Definitely. So yeah.
You never know.
So it's amazing. I mean, like what collaboration and what open innovation can actually achieve. It's the power of people coming together for a common purpose, and they all want to learn. They all want to contribute. They all want to work. I would say that in a competition, everyone is a bit protective of their ideas and of their solutions because they want to win at the end. But for us, I mean, like at Untap, the next level would be getting people, even who do not know each other, to work together in order to come up with solutions and ideas. So this is the level of collaboration. Then after competitions, then come collaboration. So yeah.
I wonder, I mean, collaboration in general, I feel like is so important, and it's something that we're trying to do right here on this, within this network. So I wonder if any of you that are with us today have been part of a collaboration that's brought something new and innovative to the work that you're doing in your community or in your organizations.
I'm really lost. What kind? Okay, does that also include like bringing someone from another country to work with you?
Yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's any kind of collaboration that brings new ideas.
Okay. What we are doing? Okay, what we did? We are trying to distribute already existent open source educative content, and we have got someone from another country to join our team to help us. He's an edtech expert to help us designing what specific tools like applications, storybooks are required for each education level.
Yeah, that's a form of collaboration, definitely.
That's great. And then you're able to bring new ideas to the members of your community.
Yeah, awesome.
Yes.
That's cool. I'm just repeating the question in the chat, but it looks like Lynette says that she hasn't done any collaborations, but she's working on bringing some to benefit her business and other businesses. So Lynette, what types of collaborations are you looking at bringing?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, mine is a product-based business focusing on health and beauty products. And I found that most business people I approached were not welcoming of the idea because, first of all, they also didn't know what success meant to them. I also didn't know what success means for me as a business. So I had to go back on the drawing board to define what success means to me. Is it numbers? Is it social enterprise? Is it sales volume? So I decided to collaborate with people who align with my mission and vision to try and make women feel more confident through health and beauty products. So that was the mistake I was doing. Number one, I didn't know who I was supposed to collaborate with, and the collaborations I made earlier on were a loss for my business because I ended up injecting so much of my energy, coin, and resources, but the other people were not really coming through. So it gave me something to actually reflect back on. And this time around, I want to just have people who are on the same board and same align with the vision and mission. So that's why I'm saying none yet. None of the collaborations I had last year were fruitful. And this time around, I want to do it different. Thank you.
Thanks for sharing, Lynette. I think that's really important. And I'm sure Sabrine can speak to this as well, as like creating standards and regulations before you move into a collaboration or a partnership like this.
Yeah. I mean, like you need to always, I mean, like set the expectations. I would say. I mean, like before entering an actual partnership or an actual collaboration, what is expected? What is the expected outcome? What are the roles and responsibilities of each party? Even in competitions, by the way, I mean, like we always put this is the evaluation criteria. This is the expected outcome. This is what we're looking for, and so on. So I mean, like definitely, Lynette, I think you will definitely figure it out and find successful collaborations for your business, for your product. But just to think about the expectations first, and properly document them or have them at least on mind.
Yeah, and Hajar makes a comment here as well that she's collaborated with some local organizations in her community, but she's not sure if it's a collaboration or a partnership or if there's a difference there. And I think that is exactly the point that Lynette is making, and that Sabrina is discussing, is that it just depends on the expectations that you have for the collaboration, right, Sabrina?
Yes. And I would say, and I don't know if I mean, like you can argue with me on that, but partnerships are a bit more formal. Partnership is usually, I mean, like it's a kind of, there's kind of a contract or an agreement or something, but collaboration is just, it's a wider term under which comes partnerships, under which comes I don't know, like working together in a competition or in a challenge or whatever other form. So partnerships are a bit more formal, but that's my opinion on the difference.
Yeah.
It has a contract and it has something documented, so it's
Right. I see Bushra's hand is raised, so maybe we'll take her question.
Hey everyone, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes, hi Bushra.
Hey, well, actually, I just want to share my experience with collaboration. Well, actually, last year in the Corona time, we organized a competition together with another organization.
Mm.
It's an organization from Tunisia, and we do organize a competition. It's a youth entrepreneurship competition. It was really a great collaboration. It was really something we benefit from because to work together with the team that we don't know, so a team from different culture, from different uh, kind of work, also some kind of a new mentality for us. It was really great, and I believe that it was a win-win experience. I mean, a win-win relationship. Also, I do collaboration with another organization for events. It's called Come Together for Cultural Diversity. Also, I believe that I benefit from this collaboration because it was for me a source of inspiration, and also it was a really amazing experience to work together uh, with people from Iceland and Finland. So yeah, thank you so much for this amazing workshop. Thank you.
Thank you so much. This is amazing. I mean, like, Bushra, I mean, like, I love the fact that you're very, I mean, like, everyone is very active and they all participated in all kinds of competitions and collaborations. And this is very inspiring. I mean, like, yeah. So thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for sharing, Bushra.
Yeah, thank you so much.
I think we have a last comment from Caroline, and then we're going to wrap up today's session. So Caroline, go ahead and ask your question.
Okay, good evening, everyone.
Hi, Caroline.
Hi.
Okay, and I'm sorry because I'm attending one of the first forums. I have like 3 concerns, not concerns actually, something to inquire about. First, I'm here to learn. Secondly, is that our organization is a youth-focused organization that works with young women, including adults and girls and boys. We do a lot on social justice, entrepreneurship, environmental protection, and that's where we find the ecofeminists who come to help us in that category. It becomes so with COVID, there's been a challenge, especially when it comes to entrepreneurship. And we have been encouraging people to go digital. However, it's a challenge because our focus of work is at the grassroots. And most of these young people cannot actually afford the, how they call it, gadgets. And you know, without gadgets, you can't sell your product. You can't see your product like from the rural community to the city center. This is something that's been working on, though with support from UNODC. We are able to get a grant and provide some digital gadgets and sport bikes to rural women so that they are able to track refunds for those who are talking about collaborations and partnerships. That's one that we had during COVID-19 when we were still actually in the lockdown under closure. However, another idea came because we run also a social enterprise that actually is aimed at adding value to existing raw materials in the community, that is banana stems. We realized that we are producing, but the products are not so much and the demand is high, but how also marketing and branding was also a problem. We realized that actually to sell this idea is to go digital. And how do we go digital? Because maybe I need your guidance, but we are already doing it and we are working on all the websites and the social media platform. So in this, we are collaborating with social media personalities that we know that when they share, things are seen. What we do, we are trying to get people who are, especially women, young people who are producing their products. And then for us, we are a basket for selling them. And that's a platform we have created so that we are able to get to them, to the customer, and they have their money directed to their phone. And that's something that we are trying and developing. It's still on the way, but already it has started because we have had consignments even beyond, like from America. However, it also comes with a challenge when it comes to branding. So when we talk about digital, I think it's something that goes beyond. Now, lastly, I've just finished my course on child online protection. When we talk about digital, we can't talk about digital without talking about technology. We realize most of the children during the COVID, they were using gadgets at home because of what was happening. And we came up with an online course. I've been doing it as an East African based in Nairobi with the Kenya Communication Commission under AFRIET, supported by GIZ. It's something that all of us have kept quiet, even when we want to protect our children. So that's why I bring in this perspective of community, because that's where our work is focused. We are trying to see how we can train more young people so that they are able to train parents and children, so that they are not bullied online, because there are many funny fake posts that are online that are telling young people that there are opportunities. Instead, they are actually these bullies, cyber bullies, who are actually trying to take the lives of young people. And I'm thinking this is something that we need, like people are talking about collaboration. This is something that we need to do now, tomorrow, because if we cannot protect the young people now, then we cannot protect the future. Even business won't work out because there is someone who has passed on and we are losing a life somewhere. Thank you very much for listening.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Caroline. I definitely think that there are many opportunities for open innovation with the work that you're doing. And it sounds like maybe you're already doing some on some scale within your group. So I think it's been great to hear so many examples from all across the continent as well. We've heard examples from Uganda and from Morocco and everywhere in between. So I'm not sure if Sabrine wants to leave us with any final words of wisdom.
Any final words of wisdom?
Yes.
That's very interesting. I mean, like you guys, I mean, you are doing some amazing work. I'm very inspired by all the work that you do. Really, I love the fact that many of you participated already in open innovation programs and competitions. And as I said, if you guys, I would say, let's be practical. If you guys need anything, here's my email to everyone. I mean, like, if you need advice on your projects, if you need support, getting connected to any networks, building your own open innovation strategy, and conducting a challenge or a hackathon or a competition or whatever, I'd love to help you out. So yeah, it's been a pleasure, Faith. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much, Sabrine. It's been a pleasure. Thank you all for your questions and your participation today. And we look forward to seeing you again tomorrow for tomorrow's session. Thanks again. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye. Bye.